Hey everybody, this video will have absolutely no school educational value whatsoever, but hopefully it provides you some laughs because test day is tomorrow, and also makes you reflect on some of the things that maybe in your relatively short life you might have thought, maybe I should not have done that. So I want to share 3 moments where I really screwed up big and I knew death was coming. So, I want you to think about a time, in your life, where you did something that was so, bad or disobedient or just plain old dumb that you immediately knew that when your parents found out, whoever was in charge found out, that you were just, dead and that there was no way to get out of it. So I'm going to tell you 3 stories like that from me, and some of you have probably heard them, but it's no less amusing to just hear how dead I am in each one of these situations. So my first situation is probably actually not my fault, and this is shocking. So my friends and I used to play hockey at my church all the time growing up. And I was usually pretty good with that. And one day, my youth leader calls me into his office and says, "Dave, we need to have a seat. Sit down." And he gets out these pictures and he shuts the door to his office. And I'm just like, okay, I have no idea what's happening because I don't know where these pictures are coming from. And he says, "Hey, can you tell me what you see in these pictures?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, these are my friends that I play hockey with." And I don't think anything of it. And he says, "Look closer." And I'm like, "What?" And I realized that my friends had taken pictures that were not appropriate, and they ended up belonging to a camera of a mother of a little girl who was visiting church. And it was at that moment when it clicked with me that my friends had found this little kid's camera, taken dumb pictures with it, and then the mom went to develop them at the store, and everybody in the store saw these pictures being developed, including the little girl. Guess who was not allowed to play hockey for a long time at our church? Thankfully, that was not me. So you can actually think to yourself, wow, Mr. Yeti maybe isn't going to tell any stupid stories about what he did. But no, that's not true. Next one is 100% me. When I was in high school, I was dating this girl. And I don't know what I was thinking. But at any rate, she was just like, you know what? Maybe I'll go on a date with one of your friends. So clearly, obviously, not the best thing for me. And so she finds out later, she's like, maybe I should have stayed dating Dave. And so she writes me this letter. And she's like, "I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I would rather be dating you." And I get this letter. And I, of course, am still super angry about everything. And so what I do is I go around to all of my friends and I get them to sign it because I have this genius idea that I am going to show her all the people that, read this letter. And they agree with me that, I should just not ever want to date this person again because, she hurt my feelings. And I got about 15 people to sign it. And I was totally going to rub it in her face. But as God would have it, I put that letter in my jeans back pocket and I forgot about it. And I got home, threw my pants into the laundry, and I went downstairs into the basement and just relaxed. Got my PJs on. And right before bedtime, I still remember my mom's voice. And she yelled, "David Doyle DeGatti." And I hear this tone, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm dead. What did I do to deserve this? And I'm thinking, because I haven't done anything during the day. And then I remember the letter, and I think to myself, oh, poop. I bet it's the letter. My mom comes stomping across, and I'm listening to the living room above me. You know that you hear your parents stomping. You know that that tone, and you're just like, okay, death is coming. What am I going to do? So I'm thinking of this plan, and I have no idea how I'm going to get out of it. So my mom yells down the basement stairs to my room, and she says, David, come here. And I'm like, okay. So I go. And I go to the bottom of the stairs because I'm no way going upstairs because, I value my life. And I realize my mom's face. It's worse than angry. She's so angry that she's like crying. And at that moment, I know that no matter what I say, there's a very good chance that I'm going to die. And so she says to me, David, what is this note? And she's holding it up. And I'm like, oh, that's nothing, Mom. It's okay. And she goes, really? I read it. And I stopped for a second, thought about my options. My options were I could lie and say, I just, didn't even think of a lie. I chose the other route of defending myself, defending my righteous act of, this girl hurt my feelings, so I'm just going to let her have it. So I chose that route. And right now you might be thinking, Mr. Gaddy, that probably wasn't the wisest route because you're going to die either way. Why would you go down fighting? You should have just accepted your consequences. But I didn't. I said, Mom, she made me so angry. Look what she did. And I just got those people to sign it as proof. And I was going to show her and I was going to, tell her that I was right. And then she takes a minute from being upset and she says, David, I raised you better than this. And I was like, it went straight to my heart. And so you might be thinking, maybe I stopped and apologized. But I didn't. I pressed on and I said, but Mom. And she interrupted me. She said, I raised you better than this. What you're going to do is you're going to get on that phone and you're going to call her. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And she says, you're right. You're not going to do that. You're going to apologize to her in person. I'm like, but I didn't show anybody the letter. And she doesn't even know that I did that. I forgot to show it to her. And at that moment in time, my mom said, you were going to show it to her, weren't you? You were going to show it to her, just like you said just a minute ago that you weren't. And it was at that moment that I knew I was dead. I'll let you imagine what happened to me after that. And my last story, if it can't get any worse, I'm actually going to go back to when I was younger. I worked at Burger King, as many of you know. And when Burger King got a little boring, sometimes my friends and I would screw around there. And one day our boss asked us to, hose down the back of the building to get all the, grease off of everything. And so my friend gets the hose out and I see it and I'm like, hey, that would be really hilarious to just spray somebody. So I go over to the kitchen, where I'm supposed to be working. I pick up the hose and I spray him. And he immediately runs away, gets angry, and I'm like, tee, and I run away because I'm an idiot and I've given up my weapon. And I've given away the hose. And he gets the hose and sprays me. And I'm soaking wet from head to toe. And I'm like, oh, wait just a second. I don't want to get, this shirt any more wet. It's my work shirt. I'll have to wear it for the rest of the day. So I take off my shirt. And thankfully I'm wearing an undershirt, but it's this tiny white see-through shirt because I'm soaking wet. And I run out the back door. And I'm laughing and giggling, ha ha, this is so funny. Like kids in a sprinkler. And I run around the corner of the building. And I see this car. And it's windows down. And it's my dad. And at that moment in time, I knew that when I got home that evening, I was dead. Now, friends, you might be thinking to yourself, I don't really have any of those moments where I've screwed up big. Trust me, I know you. There's a very good chance that probably 95% of you have that moment just in school alone with me. So your job today is to write a really short paragraph. Just tell me about a time where you knew that you had done something so bad that you knew you were going to get in trouble. If you make me laugh, this is the easiest way to make me laugh or get bonus points. If you make me laugh, you get bonus points. So think about that time and tell me all about it.